Happy New Year.
This is episode 9 of Brokers and Booze coming at you. You know, looking into 2020, ready to go. This is our new year. It's our 9th episode. We're gonna have to pop some bottles here. So, Mr. Yates, what are we gonna be drinking?
Well, Nick Sowers from Beach Connection, Bill Yates with Sands Realty, and Chris Ward from Eagle Realty.
Still celebrating Christmas.
Yeah, he's still stuck in Christmas. We've moved on.
You are fancy.
Yeah, he's at the party.
It's time for the ball. You gotta put the tuxedos on.
Or maybe you're just getting up from New Year's.
Maybe you just rolled out of the rack.
New Year's Day, yeah.
So
I don't know what day we're releasing this, to be honest.
No,
so it probably is 2020.
Nah, we'll probably release it before.
You think?
Yeah, we got to talk about the champagne.
Tis the season for champagne. We got Bernard Bremont. It is. I've never had it, but it has been described as better than Dom Perignon.
Woo!
And it's about a third of the price, about $70. So
Wow.
Third of the
without any
price.
further ado,
Yeah, give a little
Third of the price. That's like right at me.
Woo! Popping bottles.
Like it.
Like it.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
I still think it's 2020.
Happy New Year. Ooh.
Definitely lighter in color.
Yeah. Now, have you drank
Some
a
of
lot
the
of champagne in
champagnes.
your life?
I have nothing expensive though. I've had a bottle of Dom. I've had a bottle of Cristal. We popped a bottle of Cristal actually in Myrtle Beach. I was in a band and we had our.
Wow.
Listen, the stupidest reason
You're in a
ever.
band, Chris? What did you play?
Listen, I play a little of everything, but vocals and guitar. But we popped a bottle of Cristal, no lie, because we got our 100th friend on MySpace.
So,
100. So 100 friends.
MySpace? That's
Popped the bottle.
Is that 1987?
so how many likes on our Facebook before we pop a bottle of
I
Cristal?
think we've got 777.
So what number do we break out?
I think
Cristal?
nowadays it's got to be like 10,000.
I think it's got to be 10,000.
What's
10,000.
that cost? I'm unfamiliar.
Well, the bottle we had at that time was a $500 bottle.
Okay, that's a $500 bottle. This is a what?
70.
70, and it's been compared to the $500 bottles of Cristal.
Correct.
So, cheers.
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 Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Ready for a good one. Oh, it's a lot drier and not as sweet. We've been talking about like sweetness in different liquors and boozes that we've had lately, but
Change it up
it's a lot. It is a brew.
Is that
We
a brew?
really
But it's not
didn't.
an extra dry brew.
We really didn't need another sweet drink.
It's good though.
I
We've been
mean,
getting through the holidays with.
yeah, we got you all through with some sweet stuff to enjoy around Christmas time. Now we're getting back.
Now we gotta get back in shape.
Yeah.
After
In January,
Right after this.
we promised you in the new year we're coming to you dry and strong.
I'm not sure.
I don't know what that means. Why are we going dry and strong?
And our drinks.
We
We're gonna
can't
be dry and
I
strong.
was gonna say we're gonna keep drinking, so it's gonna be wet in some
So
sort.
an extra dry tequila, or the absinthe.
Oh, the absinthe.
I want to get back
Coming soon.
Preview.
I want to get back to some bourbons, some decent lager beers.
Maybe a wine that's not sweet.
Getting to champagne, I'm not even sure on how to review this, but it's kind of like a sparkling wine, obviously.
Crisp, light.
It's not
Yeah,
sweet,
crisp,
it's
light. You're not going to pound the whole bottle of this.
No, but at the same time, I would be more willing. So a lot of people, obviously, we know, like you run to your grocery store on New Year's Eve, you grab, whatever champagne they got right there.
Right.
4, 5, 6, 7.
You got a hangover the next day.
Yeah,
for
you
sure.
got a hangover. It'll wipe out your memory if you do it last. If you've been drinking all day
And honestly, that's sometimes the best way to review an alcoholic beverage is on the hangover the next morning. So we will be at this tomorrow. We'll tell you next week on how we feel today.
But I think this you could actually consume a little bit and not get that either gut rot hangover. It's definitely quality. You can taste it on the front.
Yeah.
True.
From a champagne standpoint. So
Yeah.
I used to be one and done.
Not bad.
Like about half a glass of champagne, and then I was over it. I can see myself drinking.
So somebody that's not a major drinker has told me one of the things to watch for in your champagne over time is, do the bubbles continue?
What does that mean, Nick?
I have no idea. But they said if it's really cheap champagne, the bubbles will not continue.
Fizz out.
Yeah, it'll fizz out.
Like a flat soda.
Yep, flat soda. So, or if your host is serving you cheap champagne.
And I'm impressed. Impressed with the coloration of it. Actually, a lot more translucent, lighter than a lot of like I said, the lower quality or lower store bought champagnes. And not that they can't be good, but if you want to if you got a big occasion to celebrate, I think if you're going to go champagne, you want to get a little something higher quality.
This is 2020, folks. So
this Bernard Bremont, if it's compared to a Dom, and he said it's like a third of the price. So I mean, about $100 a bottle.
By the store owner. He said by far it's one of his favorite champagnes.
What was the retail? 71.
About $70.
Oh, that's solid. I think that's a solid price point for this.
Yeah, this is very. I see value here in 70. So.
Maybe this will come through wine text at some point.
Yeah, wine text. Yeah.
They have champagnes every once in a while.
Shout out.
There'd be wine text. Bernard Bremont. If you can pull this at like $35-$40. Ooh.
Yeah. Now we're also waiting on beer text and liquor text to take off. I'm still waiting. So, but anyway, we're going into 2020. Agents, we're looking to try to start off. Everybody talks about New Year's resolution, New Year's goals. We gotta go out strong, and so we thought we'd take this episode to talk about a couple ideas, strategies, and then even tactics for you going into the new year. We gotta go specific or just general, but what would you think is like the first thing launching the new year? First thing every agent should just be saying, first week, let's just do this.
More content
here from our social media guru.
Hashtag more
does
content.
Chris really need more content? More comments below.
Yes, please.
More content.
In fact, we might have a Broker and Booze poll coming up about Chris and his content.
Speaking of polls, didn't we just recently have a poll?
Yeah, in fact, one of the things we put out there on this is if you were going to spend $5,000 on your marketing budget for the first quarter, first month, I don't care, launching the new year, that's your marketing. This is the amount of money you got allocated. What would you spend it on? I mean, Chris, you put a poll out.
So we put a poll out on social, $5,000. If you had $5,000 in that first kind of quarter of the new year, what do you want to spend it on? And Instagram stories limited us to only picking 4 options. So we put out Facebook and Instagram ads, or Google AdWords, or billboards, or a content associate, somebody like to help you, a videographer, or somebody to help you create content for your business. 71% of people picked Google AdWords, which I'm super surprised at.
Wow.
And then another 20% was at the Facebook and Instagram ads. So 71% went Google, 20% Facebook and Instagram ads, and then that left like 8%.
Did anybody go billboards?
No, we were a goose egg on billboards.
Zero on billboards.
On billboards.
Come on.
But
do you have billboards?
No.
Okay.
So let me ask the question about that. Like, why do you think zero on billboards?
I mean, I know. Why do I think it's zero on billboards? I think because the ROI isn't there. It's not necessarily that billboards can't do anything for you. It's just that the cost versus the attention for them is not accurate to where you could put that money elsewhere. You could take that $5K, put it into billboard advertisement versus Instagram, Facebook ads, and
let's go to the extreme the other way. Everybody went Google ads.
Yeah, well, that's what I said.
Do you feel that's...
Well, wait, did you have anything to say about billboards, though, before we go into that? Because I think that's a good question.
No.
Okay, no. Billboards suck.
I mean, I've considered it, but, like, the return on investment is...
Yeah. I think...
My calculation.
The media is overpriced, where there's other places to put the media.
Real quick, before we jump.
What was your question?
I know I did. I'm sorry. I went wrong. But billboards, I think they're useful tactic for real estate agents. In one scenario, they're very useful.
New home construction.
That or directional. You're trying to get people to find you when they're driving down the road and you don't have a better way to get them to you. Having a billboard right at that spot where you got to turn isn't bad if you're in, like you said, new home construction, direct into a neighborhood, something like that.
But
you're using them as a directional sign. You're not necessarily using them for advertising.
Okay.
Maybe something where you're at the airport waiting for people to pick up their luggage and you get a sign that says, Nick Sowers sells more real estate than anybody else. Or I buy properties for cash. Whatever you're trying to do.
Dude, I saw a couple of those signs out on the road the other day. I buy homes for cash.
Yeah.
Are they yellow?
843-410 cash.
Are they yellow?
Yes, they are.
Anyway, sorry, Jacob.
They're not mine. They're not mine.
Full disclosure.
I don't know if the guy using them successful with it or not, but
I see them everywhere.
they are definitely.
I do see it's a form of a billboard, I guess.
Yeah, it is. I was gonna say. I was gonna speak to that. Yeah, I think we say billboards, and yeah, of course, traditional billboards on the street, but sign advertisement in places like airports or park benches. Remember when we went to Fort Lauderdale and we saw that park? Like I would count all that under billboard, like some of that traditional signage advertising. I think you can get somewhat creative, but there's so much noise in some of those places that I just don't think the attention's there. I would guarantee that somebody sitting on the bus bench that we saw, like, doesn't even know what their head was down when they sat when they sat down on the bench with their phone, and when they got up to get on the bus, their head was still on their phone. Yeah. Like I don't think anybody's seen that except the bus driver.
When I'm riding passenger in the car, I'm on my phone.
When you're driving your car, you're on your phone. That's the problem.
Another full disclosure. I'm going to say, if you've got $5,000, go to Atlantic City, get on black, double up, now you got 10. So
that's the Yates marketing strategy. Cheers
to that.
And that's our entire business plan around. So
may all your roulette wheels end up on black.
And if that doesn't work out for you, call Nick Sauer. She's got a great marketing campaign. It's going to cost you nothing.
All right, so let's move to the 70%. 70% of people had Google AdWords.
Don't you? I feel like real estate Google AdWords are expensive.
I think so. I'm really surprised.
For? Like Myrtle Beach real estate?
Yeah, that's
going to be
expensive.
Come on. Or sometimes I target to a neighborhood. So, if it's sand dunes or like Ocean
McDowell Shortcut Drive
or
.com. You got to go with that.
Waterway properties, waterway homes.
If you can niche down, I think you have some opportunity to spend less.
Golf press quicker.
But what's sad is that Google AdWords, preached from 2000 to 2010. Of just how cost effective they were. I just don't believe that the cost effectiveness, especially in an industry like real estate, an industry like insurance, highly competitive industry for general keywords. But I think this is what personally, my personal opinion. I think especially realtors in our market, and that's probably where a lot of the answers came from the survey, are behind. They're catching up to Google AdWords. Oh yeah, I should be doing Google AdWords. You should 10 years ago.
You should actually. Then you would say you should be doing Facebook ads, Instagram ads. I would even say you're beyond that. You should be LinkedIn. You should be further ahead.
LinkedIn ads,
curve. Yeah. You should be further ahead of the curve in the big markets. I think that's where you're seeing the ROI. I think it's eventually going to happen here.
TikTok ads. Look at what Walmart did on TikTok. Look at if you actually log into TikTok, their Black Friday
app today.
Yeah.
I listened to a podcast this morning, and they said that's the fastest growing app in today's market, and it's created by the Chinese.
Yeah, watch what their ad platform for TikTok and how much it costs right now. It's kind of like early Snapchat about 3 years ago. It's just so cheap.
Yeah.
But Walmart did a huge Black Friday campaign, very creative. Used the app natively, but made commercials for that. In fact, they ran their TikTok ads on TV because it was so effective. Wow. But it's
crazy.
Yeah, so you got to look for where's that money best used ahead of your competition, not catching up.
So you're talking
or something.
So you're talking
quick, catchy.
We were talking marketing, but there's other ways you can spend your $5,000 to improve yourself. Like on the Post, we had it's a local broker here, Preston Guyton. He has a good big firm here. And he stated straight up, he said for a new agent, some form of coaching to build their system or process. You're probably better spending your money there than going out and buying ads or buying leads. For an experience item, he said some type of measurable online advertising that builds a database.
I believe in coaching. I believe in assistance. I think you as an individual real estate agent or even if you're a one-man band broker, you have a capacity, so you have to hire the coaches to push you further or harder. It's just like an athletic department, so you can go to the gym and be yourself, but you need someone to push you harder or an assistant which can pick up activities that you were kind of burning some time with. And,
a broker I know said it may be better to take that money and invest it in their assistant.
Yeah.
Whether it be bonuses, incentivizing them more in some way. They said that might
my first assistant probably tripled my production because I was doing so many activities, which I could have been spending a little bit more time on income-producing activities instead of paperwork and things.
Honestly, as we sit here, I'm somebody, I need to hire a bookkeeper. That's what I need to hire.
So how about I think that's great advice for especially experienced agents that are in it, figuring out how to take their business to the next level. How do I break through the ceiling of the cap, whatever I'm kind of probably leveling out at. I need to multiply myself. I need an assistant, a virtual assistant, some sort of money to grow that. But for new agents, what do y'all think of this? I'm surprised we haven't seen any comments and I didn't put it in the survey. Yeah. Leads. Like just straight up buying leads.
Yeah.
Spending $5,000.
Let's put it this way.
Zillow or Realtor.com.
I have an agent in my office. He'll close $10 million this year. Dude, he crushes it on Zillow leads.
Zillow leads?
Absolutely crushes it on Zillow leads. Period. People, now that's a whole different, we're not going down that path, whether that's good or bad or not.
I think Zillow's good or bad.
But his style, he can take, and he said, Nick, you can't measure the ROI of a Zillow lead. And I'm like, what do you mean? Yes, you can. He said, you can. He said, but it takes a lot of work. He said, because here's the thing. I take this person and I sell them a property. And then they refer me to their mom and their brother. Well, guess what? They weren't direct Zillow leads.
Sure.
But they were as a result of that Zillow lead.
And I would factor that in there somewhere. Yeah. Because you wouldn't have those other referrals without that initial lead. And that,
But that's why I kind of like a possible route is a short-term cold lead purchase to create a database and network that then you cultivate into more business for you. So you don't have to have that continuous contract for Zillow, but that continuous contract with ZillowRealtor.com, but that you can invest that money to start, and I'm thinking for new agents, to start your sphere, because I believe the longevity of someone's career is based on their sphere and network. And
I also this is a little hack tip for those of you out there that are sitting there saying, "Oh wow, I just heard this. I'm going to go buy some leads." I can tell you this: we've spent a lot of time in my firm looking at Zillow leads, how they work, how they do that. You can go spend your $500 next month on Zillow leads, and you might get a couple leads, whatever. You might get a certain number, but if you can work out, and we worked out a system within our brokerage where we pool the money together, because whereas you may spend $1,000 to get 10 leads, if you spend $2,000, you're going to get 27 leads instead of 20. It's
an auction style lead generating system.
The more you spend, there's a multiplier, and on those leads and I can tell you that's true on Zillow. Now whether it's true on another database, I don't know.
I think I started off at $800 a month, and then I went to $1,500, then $2,500. Ultimately, I got to $5,000, and my return on investment got larger and larger.
Are you still spending on it, or do you don't need it the way your business is set up?
Yeah,
so
still current business model.
Statistically, still though, NAR and Zillow both report, even though they say you can do more, they still NAR reports from Realtor.com and Zillow, it's still a 3% conversion rate.
Yeah.
So you still got to multiply.
My top agents probably running somewhere in the 5 to 7.
I think 5 to 7 is like
he's
considered crushing it.
He's crushing it. He crushes it. He crushes
it. And it's that balance between you don't need more leads than you can handle, because obviously you're not getting to people a certain ways, but it's a fine balance on how many agents you have in your company versus your overall marketing budget.
Right. How much? So obviously we just had a good conversation on leads, and we also had a good conversation and new agent. Let's just kind of stay, because we were talking about new agent possibly buying leads, or an agent that's struggling along and needs some coaches. What should you look for in a real estate coach?
I like people that have that they can show either their own results or at least other clients that they've had strong testimonial base of, like, I went to this coach and this is where my business was and this is where my business is now. Mm-hmm. So gotta show a little bit of clout with that it works.
I like that. With you don't go to someone that's claimed bankruptcy and ask them for financial advice. So at that same. You want to see someone that's made it there. You don't want to just see somebody that is just collecting $700 a month from 1,000 different agents to wake them up in the morning and tell them to get to work.
Yeah. Do you like the more individualized coach, like where you know that coach, or do you like more of the system coach, the Mike Ferries, the Tom Ferries? So which one do you think is more, if somebody had, because we're talking about agents that may have a limited resource of money, so they can't afford to be wrong.
Right.
So would you recommend them go the Tom Ferry, Mike Ferry route? Would you recommend find the individual coach?
So you can always get a mentor, and, whether you pay for that the same way you would pay for a Mike Ferry coach that calls you every morning, twice a day, is a little bit different style, but I think, we all have somebody that we can look up to and aspire to become and learn from their mistakes, so, we climb up the ladder a little bit faster.
Yeah, I probably would lean, again, to me it's just results oriented when it comes to coaching and mentoring. There's a little bit inside me personally that says a majority of what a coach or mentor might do for you is not something you should pay for. Like that should be innate in you if you're going to do this industry. If you're going to do real estate, there's got to be certain characteristics of what you do. You got to have some drive.
Like you shouldn't need somebody to tell you, get up and make these calls.
Prospect, market.
You should naturally want to do that.
Yeah, so there's a large portion of that.
Self-motivated, self-driven.
So some of but there are some systems and process, especially for new agents, that they just don't know, and maybe they're at a brokerage that doesn't provide those resources, that I think a coach can really say, here's the tactics. Yep. Do these things. Like you have to tactically do this, and you don't know what that plan would be otherwise. That I think has value worth paying for to get jump started as a new agent.
Yeah, I definitely see that. So kind of to wrap this up, let's just kind of each of us say a theme to say what we think you should focus on in the new year.
Let's say,
go ahead, Bill.
I would put it toward the efforts in an assistant, or maybe creating a team or something along the lines where you can be really, really good at what you do. Ford invented the assembly line, and that has since made production so simplified because you're really good at one thing. If you try and take over the whole task and you're going to run the whole show by yourself, I think it's going to limit you and slow you down a lot. So team, coach, assistant focused.
What do you think, Chris?
I'd say more content, and I said that at the beginning, but what I really mean by that is if you're going to invest time and resources, is more content, more branding. So the future, I believe for agents 2020, the next 5 years, the next 10 years, you are going to want to build your brand. We have a couple episodes back, we talked about franchise versus independent, but really what it comes down to, in my opinion, that the industry is moving towards is you as a realtor, whether you build a team, whether you're an individual, you need to build your brand. You need to do that through content at scale. You need to do that by investing resources and time into building branding and marketing and putting your efforts towards that with patience, but with intentionality of what you're trying to accomplish, and that you're building your business. It's your business. Whether you work for a franchise or independent, it's your business. So put your time and effort into building it.
Yeah. And I'm going to go ahead and piggyback on what both of them said. I think it's about building a business. It's about realizing I am not an employee if I'm in real estate. I am my own business owner. I think measure everything, track everything, understand if you are investing your dollars wisely or not. And also, more than anything, I would say is put relationships over transactions. Build your relationships with your clients. Build your relationships with your fellow agents. I think that will be your long-term success. That will be your short-term success, is the relationship over transactions. So
I would say focus on the actions. The results will come.
Yep.
So on that note, Nick?
Yeah, Happy New Year, guys.
Happy New Year, 2020. Sounds like the future.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
It is the future. We'll be drinking.
We'll keep drinking.
Keep it classy.